8 weeks seems like it would be short by many soccer standards. A long ways to go. Nathan Murphy steps in. You had the opportunity to take control of the first two broadcasts here on Puget Sound Gunners Soccer. And Nathan, what have your sights, what have you seen out of this early going of this club?
You know, Keith, despite the maybe disappointing results over the weekend and the table position that they find themselves in right now, I think the Gunners have a lot to be happy with from the first 3 weeks of the season. They're certainly a much improved club from what we saw last year with the North Sound Seawolves, particularly in the back four. They've been a lot more composed there. They haven't been as prone to mistakes as we saw early in the year last year, and the result has been much better defense, although, as I said, we did see some issues with the 4-1 loss to Lane and also the 2-1 loss at Portland at Providence Field last Friday afternoon. As we wait for Keith to get his headset reset, we'll remind everybody that YouTube is the official video platform of the Premier Development League. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on YouTube this evening. Make sure and visit the league's official channel for videos, highlights, live games, and much, much more. And, of course, follow us at the Puget Sound Gunners, where the username is Puget Sound Gunners FC on YouTube. We're just about ready for the starting lineups here at Issaquah High School, home of the Eagles during the school year and home of the Puget Sound Gunners during this PDL season, Keith.
And you mentioned that this is a balanced attack. We talked about the same things to or at least the general manager, Alex Silva, before the match today, and had the opportunity to sit down with him for a half hour or so. He touts a balanced attack, a balanced midfield, and a balanced defense. Those are three things that, of course, every soccer coach would love to have a hold of. And, of course, you tap a little speed into that lineup, and good things can happen, but you're going to have to make do on the opportunities that are given to you, and that's something down in Portland that the Gunners really struggled with.
It is. You know, only one goal between the two games and 6 given up. It's a tough weekend for anybody to swallow. Of course, personnel issues were always going to be there for the Gunners this weekend. All of their University of Washington players taking finals over the weekend. That's always going to put a crimp in the style of any PDL team here in the Puget Sound. Lots of Huskies on the squad for Jimmy Ball and Alex Silva here this year, but a big chance to bounce back with a couple of home games today and again on Monday evening, and a bigger opportunity here with the top team in town, a big scalp to take if you can do it.
If you can get 3 points out of the top team, it'll vault you into between third and a chance at second place. So you go from 5 spots up if you manage to get the win here at Issaquah High School. And that's exactly what Jimmy Ball and company will try to manage today. Just getting underway here under a haze of sunshine at Issaquah High School. Keith Neely and Nathan Murphy with you always the rest of the way on Puget Sound Gunners Soccer. Thanks for being a part of our evening, a rare school night. A matchup on a Monday. We'll also have one, or on a Wednesday. We'll have one on Monday, next Monday night. Once again, another school night affair.
A little bit unusual, you might say, in the PDL schedule, but you play when the facilities are available, I guess, especially during the summer practices. Issaquah and all of the other WIAA schools during their football camps this week and next. But it's a big moment, a first home game here at Issaquah for this club who moved down from Edmonds over the summer. They have their new identity as the Gunners, their new home, and a big community thing going on here tonight. A bunch of youth soccer players part of the rollout. And we'll take a moment here to pause as they play the national anthem here at Issaquah. Puget Sound Gunners FC Soccer is presented by Swedish of Issaquah. Also sponsored by Proliance Surgeons and Proliance Orthopedic and Sports Medicine, and by My Spine Sports Chiropractic.
And Nathan, we're about to get underway here under the sunshine. It's finally made itself an appearance at Issaquah High School, the home opener, and the faithful have gathered right around us here. Not a bad crowd for an opener at PDL. And the home Puget Sound Gunners, glad to have everybody that can make it out to Issaquah High School. And we encourage you, if you're watching and you're close, by all means, get down here. And we're at the football field and about to get underway. The Pumas are dressed in the blue kits, wearing the white numbers. Let's reverse that. Let's go with the blue Gunner outfits, and the Pumas in the striped yellow and white kits. And we're about to get underway here. The Gunners are going to put Jason Dodson into net as the keeper. Justice Dirksen, Matthew Aronimo, Joshua Miller, and Kevin Cook round out the back four. Josimar Evangelista, Daniel Smith, Zachary Hammond, and Stephen Wright are in the midfield, and Marshall Kosaka and Josh Hurd are the two forwards, the strikers for the Gunners. And Marshall Kosaka, one of those new players that we have not seen yet, at least as far as our home matches go. Nathan, any insight on what you've heard or seen of Marshall Kosaka?
Nothing much was given to us in the pregame discussion with Jimmy Ball and Alex Silva, but it is someone that has been familiar to Alex Silva from a previous club, and Alex said to expect some big things from him tonight. A lot of familiar names, of course. Josimar Evangelista, familiar to Seawolves fans from last year, makes his return to this franchise. And a couple of familiar names in the 18 also. The backup keeper tonight is Keegan Rogers, who was a Seawolf last year, left the club mid-season to join Seattle Sounders under 23, and have now left Seattle Sounders and come back to the Gunners franchise.
Brady Ballou, Apollo Ashkenov, Michael Dodds, Bo Blanchard, and Eric Uzium in the 18 for the Gunners. Starting lineup for Andrew Trapman and the the Kitsap Pumas. Matt Grossley in net, wearing number 18. Cody Shelton, Corey Kites, Rene DeZorizo, Andy Devlin in the back four. Trevor Jensen, Kevin Finlayson, Jesus Chuy Sanchez, and Tommy Cotanlato will be in the midfield, and Miguel Gonzalez and Joaquin Rivas will be the forwards for Kitsap. And we're underway. Kitsap will start the strike early, and we'll get early tests for the back four and the outside fullback now as Dirksen tries to take things away. A very good heady move to get on the outside there and start the attack. Got the possession back, and so far your back four have done their job under one possession, but it's a start.
Justice has been very calm back there all season, at least in the home matches that we were able to see, and he also got a goal, the only one for the Gunners all weekend down at Lane on Saturday.
And into the attack, and now taken away ever so briefly by the Pumas. Both these teams very balanced in their attack. No one really out there as we get into the area is taken away. 6 Pumas behind the ball that leads the one striker up top, and it's a foot race that will be won by Dodson.
Only one man on either club with 2 goals. That's Joaquin Rivas for Kitsap. Everybody else has just one who has a goal at all. I will note that Steigerwald for the Pumas has 4 cautions and a red card in the 5 matches this year.
And that is a reputation that precedes the Pumas. It is a very physical, a very stout, and you can see by the physique that the Pumas possess, especially when they had their darker warm-ups on, they just look big.
And a cutting foul there committed by Gonzalez early on, and I think you're going to see a lot of that from the Pumas this afternoon. If the Gunners are going to have success against the number 1 team in this division, they're going to have to do it with their speed.
Gonzalez wearing the Frohawk down there, wearing number 15 in the stripes for the Pumas. A defensive striker, and this shot now a little low on the free kick. And the Gunners now will come back out. Not a lot of activity
Take a look here, though.
Out
Kevin
of set
Cook
pieces.
with the long throw.
There's the throw, and he has got a couple assists off throw-ins. Into the area it goes. Had two men in the area right underneath the ball, but it's taken away, and the Pumas now on the counter.
Hammond had an arm wrapped around him there, and he wasn't free to get to the ball.
Into the midfield it goes, taken away, and here comes the other counter, and they'll just try to loft it over the keeper. It's a nicely timed one-touch, and it goes past the end line, but that's awareness from your back.
That's an absolutely fabulous attempt from Kevin Cook to see the goalkeeper that far out of position. He missed about 2 yards off the left post, but I'll tell you, if that's on frame, that might go in.
He takes 2 dribbles on that. He doesn't have a chance. The keeper recovers. Very good awareness to take it off the turf, one-touch it in, and get the attempt.
Nearly
just
perfect
wide.
tip.
Gonzalez looking forward to Rivas, and it is taken away there. So far, very, very fast strikes for the Kitsap team, and there's a bit of an error, a bad touch. We'll give it right back, and a left-handed strike will go wide right.
You can see, though, the quickness of the attack that Kitsap has. It's not just size. They've got some quickness up front. A big challenge set out for the back four of the Gunners this afternoon. Or this evening, rather. I'm not used to 7 o'clock sunlight in Seattle.
Yeah, it's almost twilight. And it plays like a afternoon game right now, although hazy sunshine out in the distance directly beyond the touchline. A bit of a mistake trying to bounce it back to Grossley. That could have been a dangerous, dangerous error.
Kites turns it away nicely.
And now the midfield will swallow up this soccer ball. And that is one thing that we've come to expect out of Gunner soccer as a steady midfield. They had it last year. What do you expect out of them this year?
You know, it's about, I would say it's about the same as last year, and it doesn't stand out quite as much, mostly because the back four and the front have been a lot better. So certainly nothing to complain about in the midfield, at least in the 2 games we were able to see, but they'll be critical to try and hold on to possession and not let Kitsap have a ton of opportunities here.
Hurd had to come back to stay onside. That's why that pass didn't make it through on the last attack for the Gunners. And now here come Puma Nation. And they are strong and quick. We'll see what they can do. They give it right in, a little one-touch, trying to find, I believe that was Rivas on that right-hand side. Gonzalez just missing on that last attack.
Nice little turn there from Josh Hurd.
Kitsap now turning up the energy as they move Kites in through midfield out of that defender spot. Once again, there's an opportunity to get a man in front of almost in front of the keeper direct, or he's taken down. Some of the Puma faithful wanted the spot called.
I could see why they wanted it. There looked to be, from this angle, a little bit of a nudge in the back. Nothing there, says Levi Rippey.
Of course, shoulder to shoulder is what you're aiming for on the defense, and that one perhaps just a little behind. And the takedown.
Very quick to wave it away was the referee. He looked like he had a good view of it.
And Dodson, of course, breathes a sigh of relief and gets a little bit of daylight.
No joke.
It was Rivas that got the first touch, and then Gonzalez found himself onside. Deep in the area, just outside the 6.
It's a very dangerous attacking moment there, and a perfectly timed run to get to stay just on the right side of the offside line and be in the right place. Coming back to get him perfectly was the defender for the Gunners.
Now forwards playing a little bit of defense, trying to slow things down and set up how they're going to mark their men now as the Puma attack. Once again, Shelton will lean it back to Jensen, now on the far side. He goes on that left-hand side where they've begun the majority of their attacks so far. Rivas has to give it up.
Look at Finlayson on the left side there, just trying to time a run. Here he goes.
And here comes Finlayson. He got into the center of the area, and had the ball been clean, he would have been in a perfect position.
The KG Scottish veteran, played several years in the 2nd division there.
And now a breakthrough, 1 man in the area. They got 2. A strike with the left foot is denied. A block. And here comes the Gunners' attack. And midfield seems to be the catch.
Oh.
And there's a tough, they say, advantage given. That was a tough takedown on this artificial turf here at Issaquah High School.
A very physical challenge, and I think the Pumas feel they didn't get very much out of that advantage. If I'm the Pumas, I certainly would have rather had a free kick there.
And now the Gunners with a chance to regroup and get back into the attack. Alex Silva talking to him before the ball game today. And he mentioned that he was going to have to, he and head coach Jimmy Ball were going to have to really talk into these Gunners players, the physicality of the Puma offense. And, of course, those midfielders are big kids, big boys.
They are. There's a lot of size out here for Kitsap, and not to knock their quickness either, because they've shown some of that up front. But as you said earlier on, it is a reputation that this club carries, and it's something that the Gunners haven't really seen to this point, as a foul given up in the midfield section there against Wright.
How long in the PDL does a reputation last? Of course, short season, high turnover kids, but it's definitely there.
Well, it's a little different for Kitsap because Kitsap doesn't conform to the college summer league mold that most of the teams in this league do. They're a semi-pro team. Some of the players on this club do make money, and none of them keep their NCAA eligibility. So they're guys that are out of college or have played low-level professionals in other countries. There's a guy who played in Australia, as I mentioned, a guy in Finlayson who played in the Scottish second division for a few years. There's a guy who played in the Bundesliga, equivalent of the PDL, but that is a professional division there, under 23s there. So it's a little bit different with the Pumas, and guys maybe stick around sometimes longer than you might see in some other PDL sides.
You glance up and down this lineup, and there's a lot of course, throughout the PDL, and it's not just the Gunners, but you see a lot of kids that have played on other PDL teams.
Certainly.
Not so much the Pumas. That is not the case.
There's a couple here. Joaquin Rivas played for the Vermont Voltage last year. Patrick Kelly for the St. Louis Lions. But a lot of these guys come from overseas. Here's another one. Andy Devlin played with Institute FC in Northern Ireland. There's just a lot of these guys that have had experience in professional or semi-professional settings somewhere else, or have just run out of college eligibility, and they're going to try and stick around with this club for a while. So they have the chance to keep some of that culture maybe a little bit.
Gunners doing a very nice job in keeping attack, or at least possession in the attacking third there for a lot longer than we've seen since this match began. And now they'll try to gather up the midfield.
This is
and see if they can get some space.
This is a lot like what we saw Portland do in the first game of the year 2.5 weeks ago. It's an interesting take, and you wonder if the Gunners are thinking they're going to try and get a lucky goal and hold it, or what their plan of attack is as we see the long ball forward.
Trying to get to Stephen Wright, who was onside there and got a man breaking toward the ball. That was Kosaka.
Nice run.
Now a run on the left-hand side. There's the attack. It hits the post. It hits the frame, and goal. It is in. Left-hand side, and 34 minutes left on the clock, and it is 1-0 Pumas with the lead.
Joaquin Rivas made an absolutely perfect run here. He tucked in behind Kevin Cook, and he made a shot. There was really only two spots in the goal he could have put it. He tried to get it under Jason Dodson as he tried to dive towards his own post, and he did exactly that. Glances off the near post and finds the back of the net in the 12th minute. Or the 11th minute. Right?
11th minute is what I have written down, and now that sit back and wait style to try to punch it in for the Gunners may have to take a back seat. We'll see how Jimmy Ball reacts in his squad.
It's early to be behind, but you've got no choice now. You got to try and play to get an equalizer. A loss at home isn't all that much worse than a draw. You need to try and play for the win here.
There's a long service, two running back pass, and it is interesting, a shove, and it'll be a free kick back to the Pumas.
Now, Stephen Wright made contact with his man right about the top of the penalty arc and took two big forceful steps there, pushed him back to the 18. That's a pretty straightforward call, I think.
And really, Stephen Wright has that body that can go down there and match width with some of these bigger, strong defenders.
Well, there's a reason he's playing up top tonight, that they need him to try and take those balls and try and hold some possession and drop it back to a guy like Zach Hammond or to Josh Hurd. You'll notice that Ash Apollon is not in the starting 11 tonight, and I think there's a reason for that. The quickness is important, but I don't think Apollon might have a lot of success in winning the ball to be able to do something with it in the first place.
Of course, very big option off the bench for Jimmy Ball, a speedster, fancy footwork, and if you need some instant offense, he's a guy that can provide it. He's kind of bottled lightning if he's on his game.
Ash scored the eventual game winner against Seattle a week and a half ago, picking off the back pass to the keeper and touching it around for his first of the year. A very big one as it earned the Gunners their first win of the season in the end after they gave up 2 goals in the last 15 minutes.
See some of that physical play as Finlayson comes down and puts a couple of bodies on Josh Hurd. Big, strong contact right in front of us here through the midfield. And you can expect that. It's going to be a wear you down kind of attitude.
You can see that the Pumas are doing a nice job of moving the back four for the Gunners around a little bit. It was Matt Aronimo coming out from the center back to try and shield that ball out of play a moment ago. And I think that might be part of what went into the goal just a few minutes ago was a little bit of positional, I'm looking for the right word, a little bit of positional miscue from the Gunners forced by the Pumas in their energetic attack.
Evangelista slips up just a little bit with a errant touch and gives a very good opportunity back to the Pumas. And they're going to have to really narrow down the amount of those type of errors in the Pumas attacking half. A team like this is not going to make a mistake very often.
That wasn't what you'd call an unforced error, though. Very good pressure by the Pumas front three so far, and even from the midfielders coming forward to get into the area.
We are in through about 15 minutes of play here. Just getting underway, an early goal by Joaquin Rivas in the 11th minute is where we stand, 1-0 Pumas over Gunners. A lot of soccer left to be played here under the daylight and sunshine. And the Gunners trying their best to find any squeak, any sliver of daylight through that midfield area as we've got a foul.
It's going to be interesting to see how the Gunners continue to react to the physical play. You sometimes see as teams feel what the referee's allowing and try and toe that line. Guys that aren't used to playing in the same kind of physical style will overdo it a little bit. That's maybe what we saw just now as the Gunners give up a free kick in the center of the park.
Zach Hammond with the challenge. And they're going to have to just take some chances at some point with some of those challenges. There's a nice back heel. And into the attack come the Gunners. Can we get a man onside? It's a foot race into the 18 and taken away there nicely. Still putting some pressure on keeper Grossi.
Justice Dirksen has a long way to get back. The Gunners have to be careful here.
And another foul as Pumas got up in the air just a little bit. I didn't see who the man that was put to the turf is. That looks like it's Chuy Sanchez.
Daniel Smith a little bit unlucky there. I don't think he meant to make contact with Sanchez, but he had just kind of moved his foot a little bit to the side, and Smith goes right through it.
Puma's not afraid to bring the fullbacks forward, as you see a couple of them now past the 50-yard mark into the attacking half. A nice little move. Right footer, no. Just wide as Finlayson left.
Kevin Cook swung and missed there, and very lucky the Gunners not to have that shot put on frame.
Dodson was on his mark. I don't think had it gotten near Wood, it would have been in had he held his mark.
He had that one covered.
However, yet another shot awarded by the Pumas, and here they go into the attack once again.
Nice little 1-2 off the heads there.
Finlayson goes forward up to Gonzalez, and he's been dangerous with the ball as they get it forward to Chuy, and Sanchez now backpedals and kicks it out wide right. That flank, that right-hand flank seems to be where the Pumas like to start their attack, at least when they're deep.
They're not afraid to switch fields, though, as we see only two defenders rather, behind the midfield stripe here.
Well marked, now onside. Here it comes again. Gonzalez has a man down. It's a service into the area, and a lucky shot was wide if you're a Gunner fan. That one right outside the 6, and it had a chance to find the back of the net, goes wide left.
Miguel Gonzalez touched it perfectly. Thomas Catalano was standing in exactly the right spot, right about on the 6-yard line, and just sent it over the top, or rather wide, not over the top, but that's about as perfect a setup as you can get. Puget Sound very lucky not to be down 2-0 now.
And what are they going to have to do? These Gunners back 4 now is perhaps maybe draw somebody out of the midfield.
You got to defend. It's a starting point. You don't have to take chances yet. There's a lot of soccer left, about 72 minutes left in regular time here. They've got a lot of time, and they just need to defend and find an opportunity. This team has showed an ability to find a spot, get a through ball, get a counterattack, and get something out of it. But they're going to need their defending to be steady from now until they find that opportunity for them to have a chance to come back in this game.
Long throw in. There's Catalano once again trying to find Sanchez. They back it up. And that will be near the sideline. Here comes an opportunity taken down.
That's a caution.
And here we will have the yellow card. Out it comes.
Absolutely. The man was beaten. He reached out and grabbed his mark by the shirt, pulled him down from behind. That's about as straightforward a tactical foul caution as you're going to see.
19th minute in the book. And I didn't see who went into the book.
For him to turn here.
We'll get you a number here in just a second.
That caution goes to Trevor Jensen in the 19th. Out of Chula Vista, California, played his collegiate soccer at Willamette Division III school, home of U.S. Olympian Nick Simmons, the 800-meter man.
And now a challenge in midfield. And up we go. Once again, the Pumas looking to charge forward. And look at the hustle out of Gonzalez. Only man up there in the attack for the Pumas, and he comes away with the ball.
He beat Miller to the ball very well. He read the bounce better than the defender did. I think this turf, from what I've seen, is surprising everybody a little bit. I think the Gunners in particular aren't reading the bounce as well so far.
Love the atmosphere here at Issaquah High School. The fans to our right packing the stands. You hear the drum beat. And it is Soccer Central in Issaquah right now at Issaquah High School. What a fun place to be.
Got to be fun when the drums come out. The Pumas always travel well, and this is no exception.
And I think I saw some Gunners drums also. So not only Pumas, but also Gunners. So
that's a good observation. This is pretty neat.
Starting a tradition. And on the home opener, we got to start somewhere. Let's just make it game number 1, Nathan.
Building a fan base, you betcha.
There's also something that we talked about at length with the general manager, Alex Silva, prior to the ball game, about how building a program sometimes starts at the top, at the PDL level, and pointing the kids upward to look at what the prize can be at some of these academies. Sometimes it's looking back down. It's looking back down. It's given these Gunners players a chance to see what a program can be, see what a sense of community is, see how they can be a legacy in the community for these younger players. And Alex Silva has got on his mind both directions, both looking up and looking down.
Building from both ends, and I think that's the way you have to think about it when you're trying to. This isn't a new franchise, but it's in a new home, and you're kind of building the brand up from the bottom here. I think that one of the things to remember is that the kids that are playing on this club are going to have more success on the field when they feel like they're a part of something, not just on the club, but in the community as well.
Ball managers, of course, from the academy teams. There's a shot into the area. The service was low and off mark, but yet another valiant charge by 2 Pumas running in on the area.
Working hard is Koska. Marshall Koska making his first appearance, and now Wright chasing it down. I like the energy from the Gunners in the last few minutes. Let's see if they can keep this up and turn it into an opportunity here.
And now the forwards for the Gunners playing a little defense top side, which you like to see, a little more vim and vigor out of the blue kits.
Kitsap feels a little loose with the ball at the back right now, like there's something to be had there, although it's certainly possible they're just toying with Puget Sound at this point.
And here comes the energy man. The engine room seems to go through Miguel Gonzalez, whether he is on the left-hand side of the pitch or the right. They seem to find him.
He's certainly got a lot of pace so far in this game, and he's been touchline to touchline multiple times already.
22 minutes gone by. We're in the 23rd here at Ezequiel High School. PDL soccer between the Puget Sound Gunners and the Kitsap Pumas.
Nicely done. Cook coming over to get ahead on that one. Evangelista chases it down. The Gunners will settle.
And taken away once again, unrelentless in the forward area and through that midfield. There's a kind of half-hearted through ball trying to find Rivas as he ran up that right-hand side and is denied by Dodson. Only 5 points separate these two clubs. And you can vault yourself mighty high or anchor yourself at the top of the table depending on the outcome, and both teams, respectively, trying to do that.
It's definitely early on still. 4 games played for the Gunners, 5 for the Pumas. And it is a short season, about a third of the way through already, but there's a lot of movement that can happen in these middle 4, 5, 6 games. It's a very critical stretch for the Gunners right now with this game and then again at home on Monday. And it's a chance for them to move up, and it's a chance for them to prove themselves against the best through the first third.
Only 2 points separate the difference between the bottom of the table and third place. So it does not take much or a slip up from somebody in that mid of the field, and you've got an opportunity to really do some work on the table.
With a short season like this, 1 goal can make a huge swing in a season.
Stephen Wright now will take the free kick. He does not get through the wall. Tries it again. Wall busters. Another long shot through midfield. No, and denied. Here comes the counter. Pumas on the roll.
Dangerous.
This could be trouble up the left-hand side with some speed. Here comes Gonzalez now into the center of the area trying to make the attack. Gonzalez, no, denied and cleared nicely in danger land, dead center on net.
Frantic work by the Gunners there as getting caught off his line was Dodson trying to block off the chance on the right side. Coming back in the nick of time were 2 Gunners. Hammond was one of them. I couldn't see who the other was. And they managed to get the ball out into touch to at least relative safety.
Shelton throws it in right to a high arcing top of the jump Jason Dodson. And the threat is over.
For the moment.
Catalano got himself off to the races running down that left side and had both Rivas and Gonzalez. It was Gonzalez really the most dangerous in position.
And that sequence, that whole sequence was started by not 1, Keith, not 2, but 3 blocked shots for the Pumas in the course of about 5 seconds. Absolutely marvelous defending.
3-man wall. And, of course, we talk about shape, especially in that back 4. The shape for the wall, that's a little something different. And that seems like that's exactly what we saw there.
Stout, I think, was the word you used to describe this club earlier.
That might be a little more stout than most walls. Here is an opportunity. A long high service is wide, trying to find the far post.
Dirksen annoyed with that one.
And it was Stephen Wright once again, the man onside, but was offside at the beginning of that break. And, of course, having to hesitate, come back toward play.
But credit to Smith, who managed to settle that ball and give Dirksen a chance to make the cross.
And now the sun jipping into the lens here as we move about 19, where are we here? About not quite 30 minutes, just short, 28 minutes of this ball game. The Pumas with the 1-0 lead. They did it in the 11th minute. They scored early. That coming off a Rivas shot.
Since that moment, though, a lot better for the Gunners, particularly in the midfield, a lot better in the possession, and they've had a couple opportunities. So have the Pumas. I would call this maybe a 55% possession for the Pumas since the goal, but that's an improvement over the first 10 minutes.
And, of course, playing mistake-free soccer.
Don't you be saying that.
In defense is going to be key, absolutely key. And there's the fight on a challenge. And the Pumas come away with the duel. Duels won, if I had to guess, are 2-1 right now, Pumas.
Easily. those 50-50 balls, the energy of Kitsap is being really important here in winning those 50-50 balls, and not only that, but in finding something to do after winning them. The energy up front has been just very difficult for the Gunners to deal with in the back.
And you look at the shape now, only one defender, one. And now they'll drop 2 more back. But if the Gunners can get one on a through ball, a pass up the left lane maybe, is what they're going to go with now, and get past that defense.
Those counters are there if they can find the right lane for them.
You're going to find it. You absolutely will. And I think that is what's going to have to be talked about when you get a break in this contest at halftime.
Getting upended there was hurt. Free kick, 15 yards into the attacking half of the field for the Gunners.
Kitsap scored very early in the game, May 28th. A 5-minute goal by Harry Locken, and it ends in a 1-1 draw. So even after 85 minutes, could not punch ahead of the Whitecaps in that contest. And right now, that is exactly what the Gunners are going to try to do, is stall best they can and get one in. Start with the draw and play for the win.
Start with a goal. That's where it starts, and you got to keep the attack. And it doesn't have to be a persistent attack necessarily, but you have to try and take advantage of those counter opportunities.
Far touchline, it goes out. And we will get things started with a Pumas throw-in now. And they'll go back. Beautiful day, beautiful crowd, beautiful soccer.
Great place for this game. Great weather, good crowd. It's a lot of fun.
An errant touch now goes beyond Cody Shelton. And the Gunners have an opportunity in the attacking half, and there is a very big collision. And Cook goes right to the turf, bounces right back up, wanted the quick touch. But Finlayson had not made any movement off the turf and stopped for a moment by the referee, Levi Rippey.
Finlayson making his displeasure with the referee known there. It's not the first time.
Long service, far post 2 in the area. There's the header. It goes off the touch. It will be a corner kick awarded for the Gunners.
First of the match for either side.
And we'll see on the set piece how the Gunners react. There's the service, far post. You have one in header toward the 6, and there's a shot over the bar.
Evangelista, that's a nice turning touch, but he couldn't quite control it, keep it down. And it goes over for a goal kick, and we'll take the chance to remind everybody that USLPDL.com is the league's official source for scores, statistics, news, and more. Make sure and give them a visit. That's USLPDL.com.
Keith Neely, Nathan Murphy with you on Gunner Soccer here on the Premier Development League. Always a pleasure to be a part of your evening and afternoon. And now the Pumas on the run once again. Catalano gets it on left side. Gonzalez, left foot once again is pushed aside. Chuy Sanchez, another point-blank shot with that right foot, takes it wide left.
That was a rocket. That was an absolute rocket that was net bound if it was anywhere close. And luckily for Puget Sound, it wasn't.
And Jason Dodson doesn't want to stop too many BBs down there. Flying at him from about 10 and 11 yards out.
That's what they would say in hockey. They'd call that a heavy shot.
That was heavy with lead, and it was moving. And now Finlayson will take it up the left-hand side. Back it goes to Jensen. Now into the dangerous middle. Onside. They say it is. A dive. Taken away by Dodson, and he'll just clear, and nicely.
Athletic and aware play from the Puget Sound keeper, not only to come off his line at the right time, but to corral the rebound in the direction he wanted it to go. A lot of credit to Dodson there.
Played his collegiate ball at the University of Portland, and now anchored in goal for the Gunners. Pumas still on the run, still challenging forward as Chuy Sanchez now will send one. Trying to get 2 men running on.
DeZorzi was looking for that one.
Pumas just have to stop the bleeding on defense now, Nathan. They're going to have to get some possession and give their defense a little bit of rest.
Yeah, with just under 13 minutes left in the half here, you hate to say this, already trailing a goal, but I think if you get to halftime without the scoreline changing, I think Puget Sound's got to feel kind of good about that, the way the last few minutes have gone.
You also have that feeling that Puget Sound is not going to give up the attack up 2, 3, 4 goals.
No, absolutely.
So you will have chances to counter. But of course, as the clock winds down, they become more and more fleeting. You're going to want one as soon as you can get one here. Now the faithful goes back to banging on the tom-toms. What a fun atmosphere.
Absolutely. See a handful of roughneck cup scarves down in the crowd. Of course, the local competition, the 4 Puget Sound area teams, and that slogan that we had so much fun with last year, beat thy neighbor, that's back again this year.
Roughneck Cup, of course, between Seattle and Portland squads. And now along offsides. And, of course, rushing out unknowing is Jason Dodson, and he is very quick off his line.
I believe that one went over the yellow line on the baseball fence. That's a home
run. You chalk that one up, the dinger? We may have to go to the replay.
Umpire says not on your life, Buster.
Once again through midfield, dispossessed in the back half, and quickly Gonzalez. Now there is a foul, and that may issue caution. We'll see.
Oh, no. I thought his hand was up on his pocket, but I guess not.
Evangelista
lucky to get away with not
was behind Gonzalez in that point.
Yep.
Threw a forearm through that left shoulder, and Gonzalez hits the artificial turf. No card awarded or given. I don't think you award them.
That's one way to put it. You can award a caution to somebody. They've earned it, as they say.
They've earned it, and of course, if it's a tactical foul, what you call a professional foul, sometimes you do earn them.
Absolutely. And sometimes they can be good. You can take a good caution, you bet.
2 in the area for the Pumas. Quick footwork now, double team into the backside of the Puma defense and cleared away nicely. We'll see what Jensen can do with it. Tries to move forward. There's a little up and over. And now a miscommunication between Aronimo and Dodson. Dodson, I think Aronimo was looking to see if Dodson was going to come get it after the shield. Sometimes all the defender has to do is shield the ball, let the keeper come and get it.
That one worked well enough. They got it all the way over the goal line, and we'll send it down this way. 2
Pumas pursuing. Another duel won by the Pumas, still in check. Here comes Josh Hurd up that left-hand side. Has to get around a triple team and tries to keep it onside and in line, and it goes over the touch. Once again, it looks like the Gunners are struggling to keep players in forward attacks online. That time, it was Stephen Wright that had to backtrack again and giving Josh Hurd a little bit of trouble down in the corner.
I wonder if the Pumas are playing the offside line a little bit differently than maybe some of the previous opponents. It's tough for us to say, not having seen what happened last week, and to be honest, not looking at the back four all the time the way that the strikers do, the way that the assistant referees do. But it certainly seems to have been surprising the Gunners a little bit so far.
Gonzalez, right-hand side, and it's Catalano over there. Now will take possession.
Nice sliding flick from Joshua Miller.
Cross now to Shelton. He'll bring the attack from the left-hand lane. Finlayson, he's been dangerous over there. Now they'll regroup. And an easy ball now for Dodson. And you wonder if that wasn't intended for Rivas. And Rivas just missed the run.
It kind of looked that way, didn't it?
However stated, the Pumas have definitely had more offensive chances, without question, than the Gunners have.
They've had more chances. They've had more possession. They've won more of the 50-50 balls. Considering the scoreline's only 1-0, this has been a thoroughly dominant performance by Kitsap. They've controlled the entire game with the exception of about 5 minutes, about 20 minutes in, where the Gunners had a handful of chances in succession, and then nothing really since that free kick that was blocked again, and blocked a third time. That set off.
Gunners fans collectively held their breath through 3 strikes.
They did.
and were not rewarded. And now a run in, a one-man run on 4 defenders. And a trip up will be a caution, absolutely. And there you have it.
Absolutely. Easy call. Into the book goes the newcomer. It's Kasaka
in the
38th
minute, yep.
Yeah, pretty straightforward there. He had his leg out, took his man right in the midriff there, and into the book he goes.
So another free kick for the Pumas. And not a lot of motion now in the set. Pumas have drawn their offense up out of this free kick, and right now I see 2 unmarked Pumas in the area.
Yes, indeed.
2 far post, and that's exactly where they aim. Far post it goes, nicely headed away. Nobody fooled once the ball was in the air.
Popped up into the air by Hammond. It'll be a throw-in for the Pumas.
Shelton near touchline. 6 minutes left on the clock here at Issaquah High School. There's the bicycle attempt, and to the deck goes Gonzalez. And a swing and a miss. They'll give it right back. A 1-2 touch. A 1-touch kick from Sanchez is blocked away. And a chance for the counter. Can they get him long? They will try. Up and over the top of the defense now and taken away by Grossley easily.
Nice job by Wright to keep the pressure on there, though. Those are the kinds of things that can sometimes force mistakes. We saw Ash Apollon score a goal on a play very much like that a week and a half ago against Seattle.
Sometimes when the defense is being so pressured and having so much hard hat lunch pail style soccer being waged against them, it's nice to have your forwards be tenacious, be pesky.
And on the flip side of that, sometimes when you're not having to do a lot of defending and you're not having to touch the ball as much as in some matches, you make a mistake. And that's a lot of what Puget Sound has to be hoping for in the waning moments of this first half.
Beautifully headed clear. And now everyone will regroup for the Grossley kick here. Goal kick. 1-0. Your score here at Issaquah High School. The home of the Gunners. The Puget Sound Gunners find themselves down to the Kitsap Pumas right now, and they've been so since the 11th minute when Joaquin Rivas found the net.
And 2 other times the ball fell to a Puma right about 6 yards, centered on the field. And I think very lucky are the Gunners not to be down 2 or even 3-0 at this point.
Shelton to Gonzalez. And there's the service, right-hand side, trying to find far post. Missed the man running in. And easily defended away. Heel kick.
Nobody there. Cook's got to work back here.
And now both squads, whether it's fatigue, seem to be a lot more sloppy, a lot less precision than we've seen early on.
Both teams do look a little tired. I wonder if it's the first game in the heat for these guys or what.
Well, the long summer or long winter turning to spring, it's been a little tough for us in the heat in the broadcast booth.
You could say that. Fitness didn't seem to be an issue for Puget Sound in the first 2 matches of the year. I'm not sure what's different here today as a foul's given against the Gunners. Justice Dirksen came flying in there. I think he did with his boot up a little bit.
And now an injury and a few words exchanged between Rippey, the referee, and Dirksen.
Oh, is it just a throw in?
And it looks like it is a throw in. Went off the far touchline. I thought a foul was whistled also. I saw the assistant show foul.
Foul was not given, so my apologies to Justice Dirksen.
I saw the same thing, though, as well. So I think it might have been a misread by the assistant referee. Here, dangerous area. And a chance was not there for Cody Shelton.
Matthew Aronimo with an absolute last-ditch shoestring play there off the foot of his toe, curling around the man to get the ball clear. It's good defending, but it also gets created by a miscue, and you're very lucky, again, not to be down more.
Cody Shelton came ghost-like out of the back line all the way up, unmarked, and it took an Aronimo steal to make it right here where we are right now, 1-0. It was another danger. Gunners need to apply some pressure. About 3 minutes and stoppage time before the half ends, with the Gunners controlling possession, as we've mentioned. And now another long run by Jensen is onside. Back it goes to Shelton. Sanchez. Marked by 2 men and will send it wide. Got a happy feet down there, felt the pressure.
Finlayson, who just made that run, he looks like he's hurting a little bit. He's breathing hard, and he looks like he's favoring one side, just a touch.
Once again, it'll go back to the Gunners for a throw-in in the defensive half. And look how the Pumas come up to mark on a throw-in on the defensive half. They want the ball back. There is no question they want possession.
And they get it, too. That's been the story all day.
Finlayson, center it goes, trying to get through. Had a man running on the left-hand side, was Rivas, cleared. And now back through the midfield, controlled there along the right-hand touch. Had 2 Gunners running on the left-hand side. Both Cook and Kosaka. Wright was also there. Turned away. Karam now to Finlayson. He's got 3 in the area. A little soft touch. Turning on it was Catalano. And he's been dangerous straight away. Comes in on that right-hand side, makes a run dead center, and boy, his Puma mates find him.
They do. And it's been that way all day. They've managed, I wouldn't say that the Gunners back four has been having a lot of trouble with their direct attacks, but they've been allowing those through runs, and that's where Kitsap has had almost all of their chances.
And here's a chance for the Gunners. Far post, finding Wright, knocked away. Here's Hurd. Hurd's upended. They say clean tackle. Now the attack once again. Pumas, you're going to get tired of hearing it. As much as I'm getting tired of saying it, Finlayson on the dispossession. Pumas filling their roles very, very well. End to end.
They are, and they've shown a lot of not just complete as a team, but complete as individuals, guys that are stepping in, not quite the total football concept in the Spanish sense with the little touches, but guys that are being very flexible and playing out of position in a good way and stepping to where they're needed to make this a very dangerous side in the first half.
We just talked about Cody Shelton coming out of the back line to make that move up that left-hand side for the last attack.
Yes, indeed.
Just flicked clear at the last moment by Aronimo, but he had to make a move 90 yards from his normal spot and had a legitimate chance on goal.
And he did that without being noticed by anybody, and that's a lot of where the success is coming from, is making runs that are in places that defenders are either not seeing it or not able to get to. It's a skill that I'm very impressed with in this first half.
Kitsap now putting 4 men behind the ball, and now they'll go back into that normal attack spot where they only have, well, in this case 2, but for a while the only man back for the Pumas was Corey Kites.
And I'm not sure if he's touched the ball more than once all afternoon.
And that will be the half. Here at Issaquah High School. Pumas got on the board early and have made it stay through 45 minutes. And they have the lead 1-0 over the Gunners. Puget Sound will go back, regroup with Jimmy Ball and see what they can do to get the equalizer here in the second half. Meanwhile, we'll take a breath in the sunshine.
And we'll take a chance also to remind you that Puget Sound Gunners FC Soccer on YouTube with the Premier Development League is presented by Swedish of Issaquah and also sponsored by Proliant Surgeons and Proliant Orthopedic and Sports Medicine and by My Spine Sports Chiropractic. We thank all of our sponsors for their support. We couldn't be here without their help. Also take a moment to give a nod to Todd Elvig, our engineer and producer. Cameraman also today, doing it all. Good job, Todd. And Teresa Whipples, our executive producer. Thanks to everybody involved in getting us on the air tonight and all season long for the Puget Sound Gunners.
It takes a family.
It does.
It takes a village And Nathan and I just happy to be able to wax poetic for you.
Absolutely.
Here at the home of Puget Sound Gunner Soccer. And we'll try to regroup and get the equalizer at the half. Puget Sound is up next Monday night. That is in the Washington Crossfire come into Issaquah High School, a 7 p.m. start.
Welcome back, PDL Soccer, the Puget Sound Gunners on YouTube. We'll give you a quick update. We're not able to keep the sound up during the breaks as they're playing music, and we might run into some violations there with YouTube, but we will be back for the second half. You're watching Gunner Soccer.
Welcome back to Puget Sound Gunners Soccer. Coming out of the halftime break with the Gunners down by a goal to the Kitsap Pumas, who made the charge over the Sound via ferry here to Issaquah High School, and we're just setting the sun beyond Squawk Mountain off to the west. And we're ready for the second half. Keith Neely and Nathan Murphy with you here. We'll see if we can't get another 45 minutes into natural daylight.
Lights still not on. Hopefully we'll go a while, but they probably will have to come back on before we're done here tonight.
A back pass now. Grossley will kick it clear, and we'll see what kind of pressure change occurs for the Gunners. We know what kind of pressure, and there's a mistake. Onto the left-hand side, Gonzalez, a little flick. Back to Shelton, and cleared there. We have a foul.
And it's going to go against the Gunners, committed by Bo Blanchard. Has entered the match. He was a substitute at halftime. We'll try and figure out who he replaced, but Bo is now in the game, and he commits the foul early on, just a minute, less than that even into the second half.
Can you afford to be just more aggressive, Nathan, than you have been? I know you have really struggled. We talk about the defense really doing triage. You'd like to get a surgical attack, but when you're constantly in triage and in danger mode, sometimes the aggressiveness will be lost.
Well, a lot depends on if and whether the Gunners give up another goal in the early going here. Kitsap is certainly dangerous enough to get one. The Gunners were lucky not to concede another one or even two or three in the first half. If you keep it at a one-goal deficit, you don't necessarily have to press right away. You've got the opportunity to try and defend and try and do a little less triage, and then try and find those counter opportunities that they were so successful with against Portland and against Seattle. If you go down again quickly here, or if it gets late and you haven't managed to equalize, then you really do need to start pressing, maybe with 20 minutes remaining, something like that. A lot will depend on Jimmy Ball's view on those things, but there will come a point when you have to move men forward and take more chances to try and get that goal.
Gonzalez being pesky on the throw-in, and now they'll swing it left. Gunners in the blue kits. As the shadows grow long here at Issaquah High School, they'll try to get the long ball, and that will go over the head. And I'm trying to see who is in the contest now. Is that Devlin down there on the left-hand side for the Pumas? I think they made a substitution also. We'll try to get you that as we're made aware.
Looks like that's Rene DeZori who is still there. And who else have we got? Changes for both sides. They're not announced to us, as offside is the attacking Kitsap Puma. And ducks the ball down behind the goalkeeper. Change in goal, it looks like, for the Gunners. This is Keegan Rogers, the University of Washington man, former Sounders under 23, so a change in net as well for Puget Sound. And I believe that, well, I'll hold up on that. I'm not exactly certain who's departed for the Gunners in the midfield.
Going forward, a little bit of a collision. And now on the left-hand side, expert tackle being delivered by Devlin. And the Pumas will have to settle for a throw-in now, although in nice position, about 10 yards clear. 3 in the area. Good pass, and an opportunity now taken away. Blanchard had a shot at it and drew the double team and couldn't push through, couldn't split the wickets.
Nice job by the Gunners midfield here to hold the ball up long enough for the defense to work back. Blanchard was up high. Dirksen was up high. So was Miller there on that play. And the midfield gave them enough time to get back and into shape behind the ball. Well done.
And, of course, being up 1-0, not even a chance at packing it in for the Pumas. They had all 11 in the attacking half on that last possession.
Kitsap leading by a goal is not going to make it easy for the Gunners, and the Gunners are going to have to throw numbers at this thing. That's just the only way it's going to happen.
So not even a single man besides keeper and defense. There's a long run. Onside goes Catalano. Taken away.
Done. Justice Dirksen working back. A little bit more triage and a foul committed there. It looks like that's Catalano.
At one point in time, do you start taking chances? You got early minutes now. You're only 5 minutes deep into the second half, and there's a collision. They say advantage given, and
what advantage?
That was very, very interesting, and they will bring it back.
That's the right decision by Levi Rippey. I think he signaled a little bit too early. It's interesting. Whether or not to give that advantage signal and when to give it is a different thing in different parts of the world. The referee is given a brief amount of time to determine if that advantage will develop, and in a lot of the world, he's instructed to give that signal and wait. In general, in the United States, referees are taught to wait to give the signal until they're going to stick with it, but that doesn't necessarily have to be how it's done, and in that case, Levi Rippey, I think, was correct to bring that back to the foul. There's no advantage developed.
Corey Kites for the Pumas.
Nice
had to have the discussion with Rippey on why he made that secondary call. But again, I think it was correct also. 2 in the area, headed away expertly, and now the Pumas on the attack. Got to go up that left-hand side, crossover right.
It says a lot, Keith, about what Kitsap has done in transition, that you say they're in the attack in their own defending third. And you're right. It's not false to say that. They've been very effective at taking the ball from their own defense and translating it into possession in the attacking third. They've done that all afternoon and evening long. And it's just an interesting thing to note. You're saying that, and it's not wrong.
And, of course, the tip of the spear for the Pumas up here in the attacking third, dangerous on defense. And we mentioned that before, but that's not wrong either. And they're pesky up front and can start attack out of the back.
It's something you don't see as much in soccer at this level. You do see it in the pros sometimes, but that forecheck, to use a hockey term, the forwards moving forward and harassing those defenders, it takes a lot of fitness and it takes a lot of focus to do it without getting yourself constantly caught offside, but the Pumas have been very effective at that in the first 40, 50 minutes.
And now we'll have a caution as that taken from behind and poked away. Dangerous foot caught up there. And in the book now will go Wright, Stephen Wright, in the 52nd minute. Draws the caution, and everybody's still clear. We've got 2 cautions on the Pumas as Marshall Koska got caught. Only 1. That was Stephen Wright. Apologies.
Well, 2 on the Gunners.
It was Gunners. So Marshall Koska in the 38th minute with a caution, and also 2 on the Pumas.
That's
Trevor Jensen.
This is the goal.
And Joaquin Rivas.
Rivas, the goal scorer, of course, back in the 11th minute.
4 in the book. Oh, the goal in the 11th minute.
There you go.
All right, let's see how your notes are.
Poor Keith is trying to read my scrawl here and making mistakes as a result. That'll teach you.
Now the Gunners will push forward. 4 behind the ball, right at midfield for the Pumas. And now a charge up the left-hand side will get Rogers off his line.
Nice to see Keegan Rogers back with this franchise. About a year split between the second half of last year and the first part of this year with the Seattle Sounders under 23s. Now back with this franchise. Alex Silva said he saw he was available and snapped him up, I think were his words. Quick to bring him back into this group.
Of course, started in the 18, did not start outright in the 11, and makes his appearance at halftime. And it wasn't anything that Jason Dodson did or didn't do,
no.
I believe, in the first 45. Mainly just getting an extra bit of minutes to Rogers.
I would say that Dodson had a small chance to get his hand on that goal. I think he maybe got a fingertip on it, changed the direction a little bit. If he had gotten there, it would have been an absolutely outstanding save. So it's one of those situations where it's an opportunity missed as a goalkeeper, but not necessarily something that you blame the goalkeeper for either.
Nicely taken away by the Gunners, and here comes Puget Sound now. Here's the fancy footwork that we've gotten used to in the forward slot. As Apollon enters. And now splits between 2 defenders, still on his way toward the 18, and he is fouled there, and a caution card. There's the yellow, and that will be the second on the Pumas today.
It is indeed. It goes to Andy Devlin in minute number 55. And an easy call for referee Levi Rippey there.
Absolutely.
Coming through very, very hard was Devlin. And a dangerous moment now, the set piece. We've seen a little bit more life on the set pieces from this club this season as opposed to the beginning of last year. And it's definitely a chance. It looks like they're going to set something up with the group running toward the far post there.
5-man wall as Grossley sets up the defenseman. And taking the shot now for the Gunners will be Robertson, Mason Robertson. Off the wall again. We've seen that movie. And it's cleared once again. And it ends the same as the original.
2 more blocks. That's 5 just on those 2 free kicks. And of those 5, 3 happened simply because the free kicks were taken right into the wall, and so were the follow-ups.
And the Gunners now will try to get a little something brewing, but 5-on-1 makes it very difficult, even though you've got new blood, new life, and a quick man. There's a shot when the right foot is taken direct. And Grossley lucky to come up with it.
Ash Apollon immediately injecting life into this attack for the Gunners. He's coming in at halftime, and he's got an entire 90 minutes worth of energy to spend in just 45, as offside is the runner Rivas. Apollon, we talked about this in the open, how Apollon stealing the ball from defenders when they may not be expecting it. He scored with that against Seattle a couple of weeks ago, and he got himself a great opportunity, the best of the game so far, by doing the exact same thing, and he's going to need to continue to give the Gunners a chance.
Rewarding Jimmy Ball off the bench, Ash Apollon. And we'll need to see more of that out of the Gunners if we're going to equal the score here, 1-0 Pumas.
That one took a hard hit off of the Pumas, or the Gunners bench, rather. Not sure who that was there, but just ducking out of the way of the last minute. That would have hurt.
And now a bit of muddled attack for the Gunners, as space seems to be an issue there through midfield, where 3 and 4 Gunner players were right on top of one another.
And finally a free kick conceded in the end. I think that was Mason Robertson.
Still shirt sleeve weather here at Issaquah High School. Beautiful evening in the first part of June. And a third of the season done.
Single sun's diameter above the school building here. As we wait for that to go down, we'll still waiting for the lights to come on, and we're going to need them here very shortly.
And of course the atmosphere, the drum line. There's the midfield. Great through ball. Here's Ash with it. Will stop play just enough to get a couple men forward. 2 running on the right-hand side, just over the outstretched foot. On the right-hand side. I believe that was right.
That's Cook on the far side,
Or
the
Cook.
defender working up from his back 4 position. And he almost got to that one. I think that was a little further than Apollon intended it to be. Cook almost ran into it. That's another threatening attack created by the tenacity of Ash Apollon.
And a triple threat. 2 running to the center of the 18. There's a steal and a chance to set things up nicely here. Back heel. Into the left-hand side to Dirksen. And it will go out.
Dirksen controls it, and I think he earned a free kick there as he got his feet swept out from under him. I think it was Catalano who did it. And yes, it is indeed a free kick.
Service into the center of the defense for the Pumas. Yet the Gunners still come away. A beautiful move, bit of footwork there, and a good touch. Dirksen now still stays alive with possession. And that's something we haven't seen a lot of so far in the first half, at least, and the start of the second half is solid possession at the feet of the Gunners.
I think the presence of Apollon and the 2 things that he's done in the last couple of minutes to earn opportunities for the Gunners has injected a little bit of confidence into the, not just the attack, but Rogers flubs the clearance a little bit. Very lucky to have some help there. but it's injected some confidence into the possession in the midfield, and the Gunners have used that to create a couple more opportunities.
Smith with the header. And he, along with Blanchard, have done a nice job here on this left-hand side, and the attack of the Pumas seems to be thwarted just a little bit now. We haven't seen nearly the number nor the frequency of quality possessions out of the Pumas.
No, it's been an improvement in all phases of play from the Gunners so far in the second half, but already almost 15 minutes gone by. They don't have a lot left in which to start making an attack here if they want to win this match.
Up the far side on the long ball. And that will be cleared to slow down the attack.
And Cook will come up to take this throw, and this is a dangerous spot as we saw against Seattle. This is almost exactly where he threw to get the assists, not once but twice against the Sounders.
Right in the area, Apollon in the area, and here comes the service. Too low. Blocked away. Dirksen up this left-hand side has been open, was calling for the ball. Kind of tucked away behind the defenders about 10 yards, just inside the 18. Nobody bothered to see him, and I think it would have been a long shot to hit that far post.
It would have been. It would have been a difficult, and the goalkeeper might have had a chance to get there. But sometimes you take those opportunities and they pay off. You remember the long strikes, 2 of them that got the Sounders back in the Champions League match at the beginning of last season. DeAndre Yedlin's welcome to MLS, or I guess not to MLS, but to the Sounders senior side, certainly.
Yeah, with an injury. Right after that, found his way not only into the senior circuit, but into the starting lineup on a regular basis. And look where he is now. Homegrown PDL is DeAndre Yedlin. Now finds himself heading to Brazil. That's right. Played on these very fields that a lot of these young men are, and the status of the homegrowns in the United States of America certainly looking up past 10 years ago.
Major League Soccer has done a lot for that with the homegrown program, with the Generation Adidas program, and encouraging development of those guys by tweaking the roster rules to allow higher salaries, earlier payments, and things like that to players that clubs hang on to from those early ages, and try and encourage those clubs to put resources into developments at those earlier ages. Looks like the man leaving for the Pumas is going to be Joaquin Rivas, who scored the goal in the 11th minute. We'll get you the name of his replacement as soon as he turns around for it. No numbers on the front of the jerseys or the shorts for either club here, rather.
Rivas doing a very nice job in tandem with Gonzalez on a couple of attacks that weren't goal scoring. And now they'll go into the bench a little bit in order to see if they can't draw a little more stamina.
Patrick Kelly is the man into the lineup for the Pumas.
Midway through the second half of play here at Issaquah High School with the Kitsap Pumas holding on to a 1-0 lead. They've done so since the 11th minute. And the man that just left, Joaquin Rivas, hit some wood in getting the goal, but it was strong enough to get past Jason Dodson for the score. And we've been there ever since.
A pinpoint placement kept it all the way on the ground and just barely caught the post in the right way. It hit the net on the far side of the goal just behind that post. So that's one of those things where as much as a quarter inch either side and the ball does something completely different.
A baseball equivalent, perhaps a seeing eye single that happens to get.
A seeing eye single indeed, but in a 1-0 ball game. An RBI seeing eye single.
An RBI seeing eye single. This guy scored the man from second.
That's the deal.
Into the area, dangerous spot. Blocked away, and then just getting it clear to set things up.
Jabbed out of play there by Blanchard. Gives up. This is the first corner of the match for the Kitsap Pumas, believe it or not.
Issaquah playing far post. The Pumas will put 3-4 in the area. And right now, 2 unmarked on far post. Behind the keeper, Rogers. And now shielding the keeper, they take the ball out to the top. And I think that was their only options after the Pumas realized they didn't have enough men in the center of the area. Here comes Ash. Those bright boots, easy to spot, not only for that, but the fact he runs so quickly.
He does. It's definitely something different than the Gunners had out in the first half, or really for a lot of last season. The big target forwards, the big bodies were what the Gunners or the Seawolves last year were trying to do, and it never really worked for him. A little bit different look this year with some speed, and Ash Apollon's been very effective in the first few games here.
Gonzalez tries to find Kelly running right side. Kelly now will come back out and reset the offense. They reload. 2 in the area. Pull back on side. Devlin on the right has Kelly alongside him, and it's not clear. Twilight here in the Pacific Northwest.
65th minute of play, maybe the 66th now, and the lights still aren't on. I'm hoping somebody's on that, as it's
could get interesting.
It's going to hold us up in another 10 minutes if they don't.
And now a counter. Here come the Gunners. Ash on the left-hand side wanted it and rears his head back in a bit of disgust, if you will, that he wasn't seen earlier in the attack. And I have to say, if he was caught about the 40-yard line here in the attacking half for the Gunners, you'd have seen some fireworks.
Ash Apollon on the left side, and Wright was on the right side, and the ball went right between them. Right between them. Nice job by Dirksen to win that ball.
Apollon takes a turn. Gets through those big midfielders of the Pumas. And the slight forward cuts his way up this left-hand side. Back heel has a man running on the left. That's Dirksen. He'll take it to center. Here is the service. No. He had right down the center.
Brady Ballou's in the lineup now. He was there as well. And it's just a little bit too far for either one of them. And now a run on the other end.
Here's Kelly. Hesitates, pulls the ball back, and shoved to the ground that time by Miller.
That's an easy foul. That's a foul every time, I think. Referee and the assistant both had that one.
Although Miller with the foul gives the easy free kick. You're out, suddenly have 7 men behind the ball.
Just like that.
So it stops the attack for the Pumas. Here's the service, slow. Right back, a right-footed kick. Shelton can't make any hay out of that. And that'll be cleared on the far touchline back to the Gunners.
That's a nice interplay between Wright and Robertson there. The long ball on the clearance found Wright, and he played a little check ball back for Robertson and then turned and ran again. That worked pretty well. It earned a throw in. Obviously nothing has come of it, but that's the kind of thing that they need to do in building possession through the midfield and trying to work forward, as now they give up a foul on the near side.
Dirksen looked like he got the ball right back after putting an elbow square in the chest of a Puma defender. And we're still without lights here at Issaquah High School. And we're going to see what kind of havoc that wreaks. Here comes Gonzalez up the left-hand side. Into the net it goes. Goal. Into the side netting. It goes. Goal denied.
Substitution. That was close. That was too close. I thought it was in also.
Into the side netting as Gonzalez slips a would-be tackle, moves to his left, and fires a bullet right into the side netting. And all of us took a look at each other to make sure that it was or wasn't a goal. It looked, from a lot of perspectives, at least ours here high, that it was indeed finding the back of the net, not side.
Lucky moment certainly for the Gunners. There's been a few of those, but fewer in the second half. The defending's been better, or Kitsap hasn't been as tenacious in the attack. It's kind of hard to tell which sometimes, but the Gunners have created a few more chances. Ash Apollon providing that spark right from the get-go, and he's got to continue to do that. The Gunners have to find those chances with only about 20 minutes remaining in which to equalize and take the lead.
Gunners starting to press a little bit as Wright comes up on the keeper and makes him fire off his side foot. Back to the Gunners. And we'll see what they can do in the attack here. And they're going to have to get through midfield first. And they have not been successful. And now the counter is on the move for the Pumas. Here is Chuy Sanchez. Lead pass up front to right. And that defense comes back to triage once again.
Kelly
deep breath.
Did a nice job there to get the shot on frame with no time to settle. But Keegan Rogers had his post covered perfectly, and nothing comes of it. That's I think that's probably the first credited shot of the second half for the Pumas, and Rogers was all over it.
Shots were 5-1 Pumas at mid-section of this one.
A foul committed by Cook
you
there.
think?
Two hands right under the chin. That's going to be a foul most of the time.
I think that'd be a foul in boxing.
Yeah, probably.
Pretty easy one to make. Gunners now will retreat back into their familiar defense that they've played most of the game. And now they'll just back kick it to Rogers.
While the goal kick is set up, we'll take a chance to remind everybody that Puget Sound Gunners FC Soccer is presented by Swedish of Issaquah, along with Proliance Surgeons and Proliance Orthopedic and Sports Medicine and My Spine Sports Chiropractic. We thank all of them for their generous support of Puget Sound Gunners FC Soccer.
70th minute offside.
Yeah.
As Gonzalez
He knew it.
was offside from the very touch.
He tried to sell it, but he knew it. There, the lights are coming on. Excellent.
And I think it took some semaphore from some kind of smoke signal or something done by Nathan Murphy to my right to get that, or to my left to get that done.
Trying to make sure that Todd's camera has something to see here in 5 or 10 minutes.
Although both of us are very accustomed to radio, that a long shot goes over the top of the frame off of Robertson's right foot. Robertson had a good look, had space. Perhaps drew the bow back just a little early, although Wright was heading into the center of the area. He was well marked.
It's so hard to keep the ball down on those little half volleys or the full volley strikes. When the ball's moving down, it looks like a high fastball. It looks big and fat and juicy. And if you try and swing through it like that, you end up pulling it high almost every time. Keeping your shoulders over the ball, keeping your head over the ball, and waiting until the ball is as close to the ground as you can get it is so difficult. And
playing a lot of long ball now, both squads.
They are indeed, yeah.
Keeping the ball in the air. And that is something that you expect being down 1-0 out of the Gunners. You don't necessarily expect that out of the precision attack that we've seen out of the Pumas so far, as we've got a substitution now with 17 and change showing here on the game clock remaining in the contest.
Miguel Gonzalez leaves for the Pumas, and replacing him is Sebastian Janssen. This is his second season with Kitsap, originally out of Belgium, and played academy and development soccer in a couple of countries over in Europe.
And just passed right on this right-hand side off his foot.
Keith, you talked about Kitsap looking a little bit less precise in the second half. I think fitness may have something to do with that, as the foul is surrendered by either Dirksen or Miller. I'm not sure which, but Kitsap used a lot of energy in the first half in the pestering attack that they used, and it looks like they haven't had the juice to do some of those things in the second half. I think that's part of why Puget Sound's back four has looked a little more composed, because they haven't been harried in quite the same way in the second 45.
And there's a Catalano at the tap to Sanchez, far post service. It could go past the end line. No, kept on pace and not cleared away. Excellent job by Aronimo to get it started. Here's Ash. He's got the speed. Can he get the afterburners in? He's got a 1-on-3 break. One running on the left-hand side is right. Here's a left foot to the keeper. It's taken in there. Grossly wraps it up clean.
It's a shot on goal, but it's not a particularly valuable one. He doesn't have a lot to look at there, and he had some guys coming. I think he thought about that hold-up play for a second because he turned back, and then he changed his mind and decided to press forward again. It's something where you admire the effort. I think he may be better served to stick with his original intention and play it back, or not turn in the first place.
And how valuable is a forward that draws four defenders
oh my goodness,
to their feet?
Not afraid to take them on either. it's been something awesome to see here in the second half and in the other games as well.
And now everyone's standing at midfield, and you do wonder about fatigue.
Everyone looks really tired, more so than in the other games I've seen from the Gunners this season.
Far side, maybe the altitude. Said
Todd Elvig
producer,
with the
engineer Todd
joke
Elvig.
there. I think we're a little lower here than we are at Mount Si. Hey?
200 feet above sea level. And that one will go past the sideline. It will be a throw-in.
A deep one.
And they're going to have to go 100 yards and change now. That past the end line. Dangerous ball. You try to give it right back to the service in the middle. Misplayed there, and that is pure luck that the windup and the shot from 10 yards was errant.
The Scotsman Finlayson absolutely swung and missed on that one. He's going to be kicking himself for a week if they don't hold on and win this game.
And right now, if you're the Pumas, you've got to play for the draw. And here is Ash. And I believe that is a foul call.
The story for Puget Sound thus far is that they're lucky not to be down more and they have a chance to try and win a point out of this. The story of this game for Kitsap has got to be missed opportunities because they've had 3 or 4 times right in the middle of the box, just at the 6-yard line, and they haven't been able to convert. They missed a couple wide. They put one right at the goalkeeper. Very lucky Mataronimo. 2-hand shove there, didn't get called and awarded a penalty to Kitsap. But Kitsap missed opportunities in both halves, but particularly in the first half. They really should be up 2 or 3 goals.
76th minute turns to 77th here at Issaquah High School. Puget Sound Gunners soccer. Game number 5. They've got 4 points to their name, playing the Kitsap Pumas that have 9 in 5 games, so a 5-point differential between the top and the bottom of the table. And right now, the top of the table team, the Pumas, leading this one 1-0. And drugged to the ground, and that will be a foul and an easy one to make. And now a little gamemanship.
Keegan Rogers trying to draw a yellow card, I think, on the attacker there for interfering with the restart, delaying the restart of play.
And now some footwork and into the area, drugged down, no call.
Right on the edge of the 18, nothing.
And here's Appallen.
That's a good no call, I think.
And I would agree. At this point in time, theatrics cannot play a part.
Offside.
And that will be offside.
While they collect it, we'll take a chance to remind everybody that the USL Premier Development League is on Twitter. Make sure and follow them at USL PDL for all the latest updates from the Premier Development League. And give the Gunners a follow also. That's at Puget Sound FC.
And the Belgian native now, a big man on the right-hand side, draws the double team, dispossessed there, and has no problem stopping play with a forearm.
Yeah, no problems until the whistle blew, right?
And now a little header trying to kick into some offense. Nicely poked away, and the man in the back there, Corey Kites, has anchored the center back position. Now a little flick toward the goal is just right, and that's tough. Jansen had a look, and a legitimate one as Rogers got off his mark trying to come out and collect the ball at the top of the blocks.
Rogers got caught in no man's land there. Jansen, I think Rogers was surprised that Jansen was onside, and he got kind of caught in between there, and Jansen with a nice little flick around him just missed the near post by a yard or two, and another missed opportunity for Kitsap.
Sunlight drifting behind the hills here, and so are the opportunities for the Gunners to get back to an even draw with only 10 minutes remaining here in regulation time. Of course, stoppage would be applied, although we have not had much, if any. No call.
Just the substitutions, which are expected in the PDL. Of course, up to 6 replacements are allowed. It is a development league. That's the idea, but I wouldn't expect more than a minute or 2 to be applied at this point, barring further developments.
Now referee Rippey asking for the ball back now on the free kick.
There were 2 in play there. One was being sent back after it had been gone long, and another came in from the sideline.
Brady Ballou in midfield with the service. Now comes back. And we'll try to get some offense going. There's a beautiful through ball on the left-hand side. Here's Apollon. A little hesitation, now a dance, and into the service side net will be cleared. And that hit the hands of Grossley.
Apollon did very well there to not only keep the ball in play, but to force Grossley to push it out himself and award the corner.
So on the set piece, the Gunners with another opportunity in the 80th minute.
Just the second of the game for them, the third overall, very few corners.
5 in the area, low ball looking for the header. It'll come back out. And that one taken in by Grossley, although on frame, on mark.
I think Geronimo wasn't looking to shoot that. I think he was trying to find somebody else that just went all the way through.
Bad touch by Sanchez for the Pumas, gives it back to the Gunners right away. 4 running, there is Ash, no. Cleared there, and now firmly in defense are the Pumas. Not looking to counter nearly as quickly as they did out of the defense early on here.
And yet here they come anyway.
And as soon as I make the mention, broadcast jinx.
Yeah, but they're doing it with only 3 guys. They've still got a whole bunch of guys behind the ball, or they did until they played it back.
Devlin retreats into the center to Sanchez. Now they find right up the right-hand side into the football goalpost it goes. I think that was an attempt to try to find Jansen running.
Kelly certainly looked to be making the cross there and heads into the yellow instead of the white.
Flick forward, expertly defended that time by Kites, who's done a great job at marking at center back. You love the way he plays there. He breaks early on attacks, finds his mark, and is always, always there.
Steady is the word you'd use for the center defense of the Kitsap Pumas so far tonight. Only long shots allowed here, really, for the most part. Taking his time leaving the field is Chuy Sanchez. Played for the Pumas indoor side over the summer. He was signed by the Pumas last year but wasn't able to get his work permit in time. Did play for the Pumas indoor over the winter and was apparently quite effective for that club. And we'll get his replacement here in the 82nd minute as soon as he decides to show us his number.
And here comes the ball now into the attack for the Gunners. Puget Sound Gunners have got to play a little fast, a little urgent in the waning moments of this one. They've played scoreless soccer through the majority. On the 11th minute is when all the damage was done. The Pumas able to get a goal out of Joaquin Rivas. And minute number 11 after that, been largely quiet, although we've had some exciting attempts on both sides. The majority have come off the feet of the Pumas.
As I've said, Kitsap, should they concede a late goal here, will absolutely feel that they should have won this match, and not only that, should have done so easily. They've had a lot of opportunities. As going over the top with a nice little scissors kick is the substitute Mason Robertson. But the opportunities for the Pumas, 3 in the first half, another couple here where the ball fell at someone's feet inside 12 yards, right on the middle of the field, and they weren't able to convert. So Kitsap will feel very unlucky not to be up more than 1 here. And boy, if the Gunners find a goal here, it would be one of the luckier finishes that you could hope for.
The Pumas have done it. They did it back on May 11th, got a goal in stoppage time to even the score 1-1 against the Vancouver Whitecaps U23 squad. So it's not like we haven't seen it happen. Of course, Vancouver known for their defense, and that has to hurt. Onside. Apollon goes to the back of the park and tries to clear one in, but it's taken up there by Grossley, and the attack stopped.
Grossley had that one covered perfectly. It's a tough spot. You get yourself to the goal line. To get it through, you either have to get it back far enough that the goalkeeper can't get to it, or up and over. And Ash Apollon, another great run, and he can't make anything of it.
Jensen to right. And now Miller will take it clear. And now, that's Kelly up that left hand or that right hand side. Kelly now with it.
Nice clearance.
And somehow falls right at the feet of the Pumas and just outside the outstretched arms of Keenan Rogers. And he's lucky that it isn't 2-0 now. I think he was as sure as his defenders that the clearance was to be made. And the Pumas very lucky to have it fall at their feet once again. That was just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Turned over to Septi Dansui about the 18-yard line, and he made a nice play. Not a lot of pace on it, and scrambling to get back. Keegan Rogers able to get a hand and force it just outside the post and surrender the corner.
Far post it goes, header right to the center of the park in the 18. A little soft left foot.
That took a deflection.
Danciu, the man who took it. Now rushing back to midfield. Taken away there. Here come the Pumas once again. Into the defense. Nobody there to serve to. And out it goes. Corner kick awarded.
Time very quickly running out for the Gunners here.
It's not time killing by the Pumas. It's sheer on attack right now.
Nothing like a good offense, though.
In the 85th minute of play. 1-0. Pumas with the lead. Nobody leaving Issaquah High School. The stands about as full as they were when the sunshine was high above.
It's been a lot of fun despite the scoreline. It's been very entertaining, especially in the second half here as the Gunners will push men forward now as we enter the 87th minute. Keegan Rogers exhorting his team vocally to get forward, and he sends the ball the same way.
Another duel headed away by the Pumas, trying to get toward the area and cleared there. And once again, Rogers will have to usher troops up. And near touchline, will award the ball back to Kitsap. Monday night will be the next affair here at Issaquah High School, the Washington Crossfire.
Another Roughneck Cup showdown there. Local
7 o'clock, the first kick. Nathan and I will be here with the coverage on Puget Gunners Soccer on YouTube.
Nicely done there by Josh Miller to shepherd that throw in all the way down for a goal kick.
And in toward midfield. Right, try to get it into Ash Apollon. And clogged up, dead center. Once again, the Pumas not allowing anything through. And a foul.
Behind the play, a collision
well
there.
Behind the play.
I think that was Bo Blanchard who ran through a Kitsap midfielder.
Onto the left-hand side. Stumbled for just a second. The ball right back. Here come the Gunners. They're going to run out of bullets soon. Apollon has it taken away on a beautiful slide tackle, and now into the attack. Here comes Jensen. Left-hand side. Nobody running.
He had a man there, Kelly, coming, but he'd gotten himself offside and had to wait and come back.
In the half, 43rd minute. 88th minute in the ball game.
Very little time left here for the Gunners. They've got to push guys. There's not going to be a lot of stoppage available for them to work with.
And right now, everybody's stopping at midfield and watching. And makes you wonder now if we may be seeing the last breath of the Gunners. Dirksen.
That took a deflection. But it ends up in the hands instead of Grossley.
Grossley not tested all that often, although did have to field a very tough shot by Apollon, and now running at the keeper and taken down there, and that will probably be a caution, you would imagine, unless it was
looks indeed.
And
like
it may be,
it
is a caution. It had to have been, and I didn't know if he was ushering him off the field. It looked like at one point in time,
the
referee Levi Rippey was pointing to the locker room.
Just trying to get him away from the confrontation, I believe. So we're under a minute left in the 90 here.
So a lot of accumulation on yellows for both teams. There's 5 cautions, as the limit is 3.
3 minutes of added time.
3 minutes of added time.
Saw the referee showing that to his 4th official.
Didn't know where you were going with that, Nathan.
I just didn't want to lose it. I saw him put 3 fingers up. I did the same thing. That'll teach me to try and show you things without being more clear, huh?
The lights on here at Issaquah High School. The Gunners down 1-0 in extra time. Referee Rippey getting the signal to play on. Get the ball in play, and Grossley does just that. Stays Kitsap soccer ball. And they will continue to kill time, and through the midfield, you look at the midfielders on both squads. And now I believe they're content to watch this one run out.
90 minutes are gone now. We're into the first of 3 extra minutes, added by Levi Rippey.
Long throw in. The Gunners have to take a few chances.
Nice touch.
Dirksen will take it at midfield and start the attack. 7 men on the run.
Miller on the overlap.
And a miscommunication will stall the Gunners' attack. Out front, Blanchard. Back heel kick. And into the area. Chance! No!
Offside. Flag went up right away. Very, very close. And tough for us to see here as we're in the center and the AR is in exactly the right spot, but that was very, very close.
Robertson made a turn and headed in about 8 yards. Center in the area. Just missed an opportunity. And that will go back to the Gunners now.
It's interesting for us up here. The stands kind of collect the sound off the field and put it kind of right into our microphones. So we're able to hear some of what the players are saying a little more clearly than maybe we might otherwise.
I love the fact that emotions can be felt in the stands, and that is not something that was something we were used to in PDL games past.
This is true.
But a very vocal, rambunctious, outgoing, fun crowd here at Issaquah High School.
Great atmosphere. Hope they can continue this for the other home games, as we've got about a minute left in the time that was announced by the referee to be added.
The throw-in will go off the end line, and Keegan Rogers will have to get things started in a hurry, as perhaps
substitution.
The last chance as a substitution is apparent. Going off for Kitsap, Kelly.
He only came in 25 minutes ago.
And Patrick Kelly will take his leave. And charging on now. As soon as we have a number, we'll tell you who that is.
There's only one more field player, presumably. I guess there are 2.
Lead pass left behind Dirksen now, as that is George Bundy who comes on, and that will be your ball game. 90 minutes. Here at Issaquah High School, find the Puget Sound Gunners fall to the Kitsap Pumas 1-0. An entertaining ball game, and the majority of the entertainers came at the hands of the Kitsap Pumas.
They did. They were very effective, particularly in the first half, had a lot of opportunities. The second half was a lot more even. I'm not sure what caused that, if the Gunners just came out with a lot of fire. Certainly they got some spark from Ash Apollon in the second half, or if the Pumas, it looked like they ran out of steam for a while, and the Gunners certainly were in the attack for the last 15 minutes, but they were not able to break through. The back 4, particularly the center back Kites, very, very effective for the Pumas in the second half at preventing the threatening moves through the midfield from becoming actual attempts on goal.
With the win, the Kitsap Pumas put 3 more points next to their names on the table and get themselves a little bit of breathing room between the second place Victoria Highlanders. So 12 points over 8, a game and change above the second place Highlanders. Puget Sound Gunners remain at 4 points and at the bottom of the table, although plenty of time, especially when you got their Washington Crossfire, who is a point ahead of you on the table. A chance to get a win there moves you right back up where you want to be with a chance to get to the playoffs.
It's early to have must-win games, Keith, but you'd say that Monday's a must-win. It's a team that's in your region of the table. It's a game at home. You really need to come away with 3 points to be looking towards the playoffs much further.
So that'll wrap it up for us here at Issaquah High School. Thanks for being with us on YouTube, the official channel of the Premier Development League, and we're proud to be a part of it here on Puget Sound Gunner Soccer. Keith Neely and Nathan Murphy alongside producer-engineer Todd Elvig saying so long. Thank you very much for being a part of our evening. 1-0 the final. Kitsap over Puget Sound. We'll have a good night. We'll see you on Monday, 7 p.m. Washington Crossfire comes into Issaquah High School to take a stab at the Gunners, and we'll be right there with the call. Thanks for being with us, and good night.